Jayambe. One of the oldest mentions of the mother goddess is in the Kena Upanishad. In this story, once the gods were feeling very pleased with themselves. They had just defeated the terrible demons in a massive battle, and they felt that their powers were at their peak. So as they congratulated one another, they noticed a divine being approaching them. And when the being approached, they waited for the being to bow and congratulate them on their victory. But the divine being just said, "Who are you?" And Agni blazed forward. "You don't recognize us? We just defeated the demons in battle. I am Agni." And the being said, "Really? What do you do?" Agni said, "What do I do? I make fire. I am fire. I can burn anything on this entire earth." And so the being said, "Really? That's very powerful. What about this blade of grass? Do you think you could burn it?" And Agni laughed. "Are you kidding? I can burn anything." So he mustered a flame and he threw the flame toward the blade of grass. But the blade of grass just stayed. It didn't catch on fire. It didn't even smoke. So Agni tried again. He conjured a bigger flame and he sent it toward that blade of grass. But the blade of grass stayed just like that in the divine being's hand. So Agni stepped back, wondering what had happened to all of his power. And then Vayu stepped forward, and the divine being said, "And you? What do you do?" Vayu said, "I can carry anything off with the power of my wind." "Well, then this blade of grass should be no problem at all." Vayu said, "Sure." But the blade of grass didn't budge. Vayu drew a breath again. But the blade of grass didn't move an inch. Vayu swept away in a huff. And then Varuna stepped forward, and the divine being said, "And you? What can you do?" Varuna said, "With my water power, I can drench and sweep away this blade of grass." Here you go. And Varuna sent waves and waves of water toward the blade of grass. But it didn't get wet. It didn't even move. And Varuna tried again and again, and the blade of grass stayed dry as ever. And now Indra stepped forward, leader of the gods, wielder of the thunderbolt. But as he approached, the divine being vanished, and the gods found themselves looking at one another. And there from the distance, they noticed the goddess Uma, Haimavati, daughter of the mountain, coming toward them. And she could see their troubled faces, and they said, "Oh, Mother Goddess, what happened? Who was that divine being that showed us a blade of grass that none of us could even move, much less destroy?" And Uma said, "That being was Rudra, Shiva himself. And that blade of grass was Brahman, the power that pervades this entire universe, the reason why all of you have power." And the gods bowed before Uma and bowed before Brahman, the source of the universal power. And all of us know that when we don't know anything, it is our mother, the first teacher, the first one who connects us to the world around us, and eventually to the God that pervades all of it. So on Navratri, we bow to the Divine Mother and remember Goddess Uma, Parvati, Jayambe.